All right, welcome to the 12 o'clock show with Mayor Joe and Reynoldsburg Clerk of Courts.
Hello.
How are
Hello.
you?
I'm good.
Welcome. That was, for those of you that don't remember that old TV show, that was the theme from Night Court. And apparently Facebook has caught on to us, and you may not have even heard that. We don't know. They're starting to do this copyright thing. So we'll see how it goes. May have to have our own intro here in the not too distant future. But again, joining me today is Leslie Clark. She's our Clerk of Courts here in Reynoldsburg. We are thrilled to have you. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have a jam-packed show as always. Just a couple of good things to go over before we get into the good stuff.
Okay.
Just to let everybody know, we are in round 2 of our CARES Act funding. We are taking applications until October 16th. We have not awarded any specific more money from the last time, so we still have given out about $92,000, but we're in the process of giving a significant amount more, including close to $23,000 to Heart Food Pantry. They will be getting their check. Hopefully, I think we're going to start doing some deliveries next week to Heart and a few other local businesses. So there's still time for people to kind of go ahead and submit their information. The big thing you have to show us is the loss of revenue and then any expenses that you had. For more information, please contact us here at City Hall, but we would love to be able to help support some of our small businesses. We had the chance to go out last week and really help out a few businesses. There were some that were just the money was very timely. It was very good, and it's a good use of funds. I do have a couple of things for code enforcement today. I don't have any pictures. We're in that kind of in-between stage, but I do have some fun things to talk about. First one is political signs. Everybody's favorite. It is that time of the year. Thankfully, I think most signs hadn't started popping up really until about the last week or so. I think traditionally in Reynoldsburg, it's always been, that last week of September, first week of October before the early vote goes in. You can have your political signs in your yard. You can have multiple political signs in your front yard. That's not an issue. The ones that I think a lot of people have concerns about are the ones in abandoned areas, the right-of-way, things like that. So code enforcement is going to be picking those signs up. We've reached out to some of the campaigns that have signs in the area for that, and we are keeping them here at City Hall, and they're more than happy to come and bring them back. But the reality is, in kind of the old abandoned parts of the right-of-way areas, those are not necessarily the best places for signs. So again, but we do keep them. We don't throw them away until after the election. There's usually a big recycling effort for all of those things. So just kind of keep that in mind for this year as we move forward. We also have the weather changing. I think today might be one of the last nice sunny days that's out there, but keep in mind when you're cutting your grass or if there's leaves coming down from your trees over the next few weeks, please don't put them in the streets. Put them in your recyclable bags, have Rumpke pick them up on Thursdays, because what we're really worried about, especially in some of our older neighborhoods, is leaves and tree clippings getting into the sewer system. And when it does rain, that makes it harder for the water to flow all the way throughout. So we want to try and get ahead of that. So please keep that in mind. And again, just a reminder, trash is supposed to be put out starting at 12 o'clock on Wednesday, and you can leave it out until 12 o'clock on Friday. If Rumpke misses it, or the trash isn't picked up, or your recycling's not picked up, you can call them directly, or you can call us here at City Hall. Usually, I would say Friday mornings tend to be a really popular time for people to let us know that the trash has not been picked up. So kind of keep that in mind. Got a couple of events coming up. The first one is the first annual Mulligan Golf Classic to benefit Heart Food Pantry and the Reynoldsburg Education Foundation at Cumberland Trails. That'll be Monday, October 19th to Friday, October 23rd. The cost is $90 for 18 holes of golf, a golf cart, and a sandwich. So we're trying to get a team together myself so we can have some of the worst golf ever played. We're not going to film that. You'll have that before picture, and then you'll have the after picture. My guess is it'll be very bright and sunny in the beginning and very dark afterwards, because it will take us that long. So that's something. Are you a golfer by any chance?
I am not a golfer.
Okay, not my forte, but yeah, I think that'll be the thing. That I'll be the designated putter. I think after about 4 holes, they'll just say, just drive the cart. That's all you can do. So we have that one, but it's for a great cause. Heart Food Pantry and the Reynoldsburg Education Foundation to help raise some funds for each of those institutions to help them with, obviously, Heart's cause for helping feeding the needy, and then for the Education Foundation to help students in Reynoldsburg with any number of things. I know one thing that Debbie Dunlap, the board president, has talked about is for those students that used to go to Washington, D.C. in their trip in the 8th grade year, not everybody was able to go, and the way that the IRS has the laws, it's hard sometimes to fundraise, and so this would help kind of compensate for that for some of those and other ones as well. We also have the second annual Lions Club silent auction. It's going to be Thursday, October 15th at 6 p.m. at Summit Station. That's basically right off Summit Road, 7600 Summit Road. For $15, you're going to get a ticket, a meal, and a door prize ticket, as well as a bid card for all sorts of cool things. I hope that next week, if April Darling is watching, I hope I'll get a couple of ideas of some of the cool items that might be up there just to help win the advertising part. But those are just some fun things going around for a great organization. All right, so all of that stuff. Now comes the fun time. We're going to start asking some questions here.
Okay.
First of all, the real easy one is how have you and your family been dealing with COVID? I mean, it's been, I remember, we were standing in here in the very early days of all of this, and we've had some conversations. Yeah. So how are things going?
We have been dealing with the virus, I guess, as best we can. There have been a couple of deaths in our family. One of my cousins died in Indianapolis. Well, actually, two cousins in Indianapolis had passed away. And then people that I've known growing up, like in church or things of that nature, have passed away or have gotten really sick. So, it hits close to home. It lets you know how real it is. We've been taking precautions. I have two children in college, twins that are in college. And it's hard because one is gone to school. So you worry about the factor of, is she going to be okay? And then one commutes to Ohio State. So, they're at the library and things of that nature. So it's hard, but I mean, we're coping as best, we can, with everything that's going on, just taking our precautions, wearing our masks, washing hands, distancing as best as possible. So, yeah.
So when it comes to, I know one of the big changes that we made at the city level is we shut down the building to the public during court days.
Yeah.
And that's just to kind of, how's that been working out? I mean, I know
it
well, that was quick. I know that, in the limited time between January and March, I got a chance to see, what was going on in court. And obviously there were certain times that it was much busier than other times. But with this, how's it? I mean, is it help kind of control the flow? Like, tell me through the process. What's that like?
Well, it used to be how you would see it before, and the lobby, the courtroom would be full of people. We would be, hustling, trying to get people out as quickly as possible. But unfortunately, that didn't happen always, and it was a lot of people that were sitting around close to each other. Those things of that nature. But with the new system that we have in place, we have officers at the front checking people in as they come. Everybody's socially distanced. They in turn bring us the person's name, and we get their file. We only keep a certain amount of people in the lobby at once. If it overflows, they go to their cars and wait. We call them. It's great. And it's steady. It's not full. So it's steady, it's consistent, and it's just a much better system. People aren't stacked on top of each other waiting for their names to be called. It's just a great system. I'm glad that you put that in place.
Yeah, it's helpful. I mean, it's from the safety aspect as far as COVID, but also I think from like a functionality that
for sure.
I can only imagine sometimes when you look down there, it felt like herding cats at times where everybody was just kind of going everywhere doing all sorts of, and now there's definitely a process. Big thing was having the officers up in front, so thanks to RPD for drawing the card and coming out there. I think it just allows just a steady process all the way through. So so tell me about your position. I mean, I know we talk about night court and we think, but what exactly, for everybody looking at home, what exactly does the clerk of courts do?
So what I do is I make sure that the records from every court case that's filed in the city of Reynoldsburg through mayor's court is kept properly and in order, and for record retention's sake, if there's ever a need to pull that record for a future court date, or if someone does a public records request, we can always get our hands on the records that we've processed. We also subpoena witnesses for the prosecutor and for the defense if they come in and request that we do a subpoena for them. We make sure that all the fines and costs and fees that are assessed by our magistrate are paid through our office, and we disperse the money to the appropriate entities like victims of crime in the state, or to pay for Marcy's Law type of things. So we make sure all that stuff is organized. So from beginning to end, when the police officer initiates a citation and it goes through the prosecutor's office, we are in charge of making sure that that whole process runs smooth. I have a excellent staff, Deb Deal, Deb Seidel, and also Joyce Tubbs, and they help me. They're the backbone of that office, really. We make sure that, you know, questions are answered. People call to see, you know, how much they owe, when do they have to come in court, everything that goes into a court case, other than what the prosecutor does and what the magistrate does, we do it. Yeah. So we make sure it just all stays together in a nice little package.
Yeah, we forward many calls from up here on the second floor down to the clerk of court's office every day, but especially on Thursdays. It's almost like you could just set a timer to it and just have a loop play. But
yes.
No, it's good. I think it runs really well. I've been down and I've talked to some of your staff on occasion. You guys are always busy, and I hate being the person that like comes in and is trying to interrupt anything. No. But you guys do a great job for us. It's just an unsung thing, you know. You don't necessarily. I mean, hopefully most of our viewers out there will never have to deal with this. But if you do, you have a bright smiley face that'll help you guide the way through everything. So that'll be good. So now moving forward, I'll take COVID out of the equation. What do you think is the biggest challenge that your office faces in general, from just with everything?
Outside of COVID, you mean?
Yeah, just outside of COVID.
I think that things change so rapidly in this type of setup. Mm-hmm. So software issues, keeping up with everything that changes, laws change. You know, the computer system changes. That when you take the magnitude of all of our cases and, you know, case files that we have to do, we have to make sure all those things are up to par and, you know, current. Mm-hmm. So you got to make sure that's a challenge sometimes, because you don't realize, oh, that law changed, let me change this whole thing that I just changed. Yeah. So, you know, those type of things you want to stay current on. Other than that, just making sure that you always realize that anything that happens or comes in there is not a personal thing against you or your staff, because you know, tension is high sometimes. Mm-hmm. And people are upset and they just want to be spoken to like an adult. Mm-hmm. And treated with respect and dignity, no matter what it is. And that's what we try to focus on and do for everyone that comes into court. So
that's awesome, and I can only imagine that it's not nobody wants to be in court.
Yeah.
So that probably is not the easiest thing to do at times. I'm sure you've had some heated discussions in the past from things, but we appreciate all of that. I know that there's got to be at least a couple of questions out there.
There's not one.
Not all the potential.
Because I answered them all.
All right. Well, we'll see if a few of them pop up. I did get one question. Apparently, you have a knack for meeting celebrities. Is that?
Oh my gosh.
Is that what I'm hearing? I just potential.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I can only imagine where that question came from, but that statement came from. I've always I don't know why, but people think I look like Layla Ali. So, you know, I get that all the time. And where I used to work in Cleveland, I was when I first came out of law school and I got a job at Forbes Fields and Associates in Cleveland. Mr. Forbes had a lot of celebrity clients that would come through, and Don King was one of them. And he thought I looked like Layla Ali, and he tried to get me to box, which was not going to happen. It was not going to happen. So I met people like that. So, you know, it wasn't, you know, you'd be doing your work and you look up and you see Al Sharpton walk past, or you'd see Mike Tyson in the office. Or,
see, it's funny you mentioned Mike Tyson.
No.
Just, you know, he's a popular person to talk about. You know, I just...
No, he's making a comeback.
He's making a comeback. So, did you have any other fun stories about Mike Tyson? Maybe his car or something along those lines?
Nah.
No, nothing like that? Okay. I just, you know, just a random, completely innocent question. So...
Mm-mm.
Okay.
He's making a comeback.
Yeah.
He can fight. His trainer's a good friend of mine still. Okay. His old trainer. And he would help me like box just for exercise and stuff, and they would really try to get me to box. And Don King called Mr. Forbes and asked him would I be interested in really like boxing, and I'm like, no, I don't want to get punched in the face. Went to law school to avoid that, so I could sue the person who does hit me in the face. But other than that, no. I know where that statement came.
Just random things. So I don't know if you were able to make it to the Tomato Festival a couple of years ago, but I know that they had one of those things where they were the oversized boxing gloves, things, that type of thing.
I remember that.
So I think we have something in mind now for the next year's Tomato Festival, and you can kind of show a little skills with that.
Let's do that.
I think that'll be good. I do know that the brash young assistant city attorney would probably have a great time with something like that.
Mr. Shaw.
Mr. Shaw. He'll be on the show eventually. But I think
I'll get him back.
Yeah, I think that'll be a fun type of thing. So. All right, I had to ask, so I just wanted to throw that out there. Do we have any questions while we're looking through?
No.
Okay, so you're more than happy to go back to work, or if you want to sit around and just listen to a couple other fun things.
I'll go back to work.
You're going to go back to work? Not a problem.
Go do my job.
I really appreciate you coming in and letting
All right,
us know
thank you for
about
having
that.
me.
Thank you very
Tell
much.
Mike I'm getting them.
I will.
Bye, thank you.
We'll see you soon. So we've got a couple of other things coming up. Obviously, everybody's, my favorite holiday, Halloween, is coming up. So we have a couple of things in store. We're doing some good decorating here at the office. We do have our drive-in movie theater, Ghostbusters from 1984. The classic version is going to be at Civic Park on Saturday, October 17th. Tickets are, the first batch of tickets went on, I think, just 2 days ago or yesterday, and I know that there's some other batches that are coming out. It's a great film. You're going to be able to see some of the staff in costumes. I know I'll be there in costume, probably have some other ones. Perhaps a parks director will be there in costume. You may not recognize her, though, but you might want to show up for that one. I'm sure she's watching. We also have Trunk or Treat in conjunction with the Reynoldsburg Community Association, and that's going to be October 24th from 3 to 6 p.m. at Civic Park. Very similar to what we did with our Fair Food drive-through, so you'll have the opportunity to do that. I know that they've got some good sponsors out there. They're going to be able to pass the candy out. We also know the small pumpkin pie giveaway that's going to come in, and I can't recall that date. I think it's the 17th as well. And then some virtual ideas out there for best costumes, best decorated house, things like that. Those are all coming up. That's what my goal is this weekend. Is now the time is there to go ahead and get everything set up for our costumes there. You'll probably see staff members in costume the week of Halloween, specifically that Thursday. Just in-house, we're going to do best individual costume and best group costume. So we've got that going on just for some fun things, just to kind of lighten it up a little bit. The day-to-day doldrums of life, so we kind of make things a little bit fun. So we hope you can keep an eye out for all of that. And then Trick or Treat Night, obviously Thursday, October 29th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Following all the guidelines, again, making sure everybody has gloves and masks, even if it's a mask underneath your actual costume mask, you want to have that there. And for those that are going to pass candy out, make sure that you are wearing gloves. The best way for me is what the CDC is telling us is just to take the bag of candy that you get from the store, open that, empty it in there, and just you give the candy out all the way. So that way it kind of limits the contact with there. And then parents can do their parent tax and make sure that the candy is inspected before they give it to the kids to eat. So we have all those on there. Do we have any questions while we're waiting?
Nope.
Nope. All right, so we'll go ahead and move on. We're down to, that's it, the census. There's conversations about keeping part of it going or not going, so we'll see. But as of right now, Reynoldsburg is up to 76.9%. We're almost at 77%. So who knows, maybe in the next couple of days we get that taken care of. But we are far and away better off than what we were 10 years ago. Pickerington is a little bit further down the line. Does not look like Ohio is going to catch that state up north, though. We're about 0.6% behind. But again, maybe we have a little bit more of an opportunity to do that. But I think it's a really good showing. Obviously, it's an important thing to do because it helps adjust with funding. Like, to give you an example, the city of Reynoldsburg just recently received additional state funding from CARES money, and it was based on population. But the population that it was based on was, again, from 5 years ago at the middle of the decade. And so it was not what it probably is today. So the more accurate we get the census count, if we do get an opportunity to get federal funding for different programs and things like that, it is based off the population. So it also helps with representation at the state and local level, so kind of keep that in mind as well. So if you have not filled out your census yet, please do so. Again, hashtag Census 2020, go ahead and get that training out in just as best we can for the last little bit. Yesterday was the first day of early vote here in Ohio. Reynoldsburg has the luxury of being in 3 different counties, Fairfield, Franklin, and Licking. So if you want to go in and vote, early at one of those locations, either off Morse Road or in Newark or in Lancaster, you can do so. I know the lines in all 3 locations were pretty big yesterday, so you may want to keep that in mind, but it's a great opportunity to exercise your constitutional right to vote. Don't take it for granted. I know my son is devastated that he's not going to be able to vote. He misses the election by just about 10 days. So he's very upset that he's going to miss it that much. He turns 18 on the 14th, so he's going to miss that. But again, if you have the opportunity to go out, make sure you do so. We do have a small change to our fireside chats next week. We're going to actually do a special Tuesday show with City Council member Stacey Baker. Tuesday happens to work with his schedule a little bit better, so we're going to help accommodate him and have him in on Tuesday. And so we'll have a good conversation with Councilman Baker. One of the things he may talk about is the potential new firehouse that it's going to be built over off Taylor Road. That'll be able to continue to provide services in a more established building in Reynoldsburg from Southwest Licking. So hopefully that'll be something that he talks about. Do we have any questions before we... Nothing.
Quiet day.
All right. So we'll have to get some other questions out there at some point in time. In the meantime, please go out and enjoy the sun today. It is beautiful outside. Stay safe, stay respectful, and as always, please put your shopping carts where they belong, because I literally had to put 10 shopping carts away at Meijer this past weekend, and my wife was just shaking her head, but I had to do it. It's not hard. Just put them there. It makes things a lot easier for everybody. Otherwise, have a great day. If you have any questions, send us an email. We'll see ya.